making a significant impact as a business coach and a strategist with your clients, that's where it's all at. We're going to talk about that on this episode of the Business Coaching Success Podcast. Let's jump in. BJ O'Neill here with the Business Coaching Success Podcast. So glad you're here, where I share with you strategies, tools, and tips to be able to grow your business coaching practice to six figures and beyond as a Christian business coach. Let's jump in. Hey there, hey there, hey there. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. Don't know why I do those in threes, but I do. BJ O'Neill here. Glad that you're here. We are discussing opportunities and how to help your clients and your prospects to see things that they cannot see. Transformation, that's really what it's all about. And real quick, before we dive in, if you're listening on Apple or Google or whatever platform, maybe you're watching on YouTube or on Spotify's video platform, maybe you're curious, you've thought about, man, I really want to make an impact to business owners, want to help them grow the profits and revenues of the business. Don't know exactly how to get started, don't have resources and tools. I've got something for you. Go to businesscoachmastery.com. That's businesscoachmastery.com. There's some information there all about that very thing and our done-for-you system that helps those start, grow, and just crush it as a Christian business coach. And if you want to even book a time to chat, we can talk about it too. We'll share with you exactly how we do what we do in our entire business coaching network that we have. Okay, opportunities, transformation. So, and here's why. I get asked often, the process of actually, coaching the client, the process of actually coaching the business owner. Like, what is that process? Like for us, we utilize tools to be able to do that. But here's the thing. Even though we have tools, we're going to help that business owner to be able to understand strategies that they need to implement to grow the business. But if you stay so stuck on, step one, step two, step three, step four, it gets very analytical. It removes emotion out of the conversation, and it oftentimes just flies over the head of the client. And to do it well, and for really to have the power that coaching is supposed to have, it is truly helping someone move from where they are over here to where they are over here. In other words, left to right, and certainly want to grow. Well, that takes the dedication from the coach and the strategist to be able to move them to the land of transformation, to give them aha moments, to open up their mind. But there's a few things we have to understand before we can really do that. The first is the importance of perspective, okay? It's critical that you understand that there's multiple angles that everyone sees the same thing, right? And so if you're looking, at straight on, if you're looking over here from the left or the right, you can see different things. And oftentimes when we're looking, we've got blind spots. You have them, I have them, clients have them, prospects have them. We all have blind spots, and our blind spots are all different based upon our personalities and how we're wired. Also, just our openness or not on growth. Because here's the truth. There are plenty of people in the world that are not interested in growth. They're good. They're status quo. I don't mean to be judgmental, but they have a status quo mentality, and they're just not interested in putting any effort and work, right? That's a blind spot for somebody, right? So understanding that, one, there's different perspectives. Two, that there's blind spots that cause that perspective to change. So for those who do want to grow, it is our ability, meaning the coach, to walk them through, to be their guide, to help them to see what they cannot. That's it. And so we can't just jump in to the relationship with a client and just mitigate and completely not even connect with the fact you're working with a human, you're working with an individual. They've got felt needs, they've got perspectives, they've got blind spots. And if all you do is walk through, let's go to step one, step two, step three, then you're going to miss things. So for instance, like in our system that we give coaches in our done for you system, we use assessments that does show based upon the current size, the financial size of the business, their gross revenues, their net and their net numbers and whatnot. And it shows them, if we implement these strategies, how they can grow a few percentages over here, over there, and so on. Well, in our case, using our system, if all we did was stick straight to the data and to the numbers and to strategy, and that we're missing out on the emotion and we're missing out on the ability for transformation and growth for the individual. And that's the reason why it's super important. If you want to help someone to see what they can't, you got to connect with them as an individual as well. Okay, so got to understand perspectives as a bedrock. The second thing is the strategies and techniques to help clients to see what they cannot. Okay, the first is, and I talk about this all the time. I've got several podcast episodes you can go back through about active listening. You need to, it's not just listening, you need to actively listen to truly what they're going through. Why? Everyone's got a story. Everyone has a backstory. There's experiences, both positives and negatives, that have brought them to where they are today. And if we step over that, we really can't truly understand. So in order to understand well, we've got to listen, and we have got to actively listen. We cannot be a talker. And that happens often in coaching, to where, because again, we're strategically walking them through a process to show them how to implement a strategy. We can take over the conversation and or multiples thereof, and we're not truly listening to what's going on with them. So it's important that you listen and listen really, really well. The next way you do that, and the techniques to help them see what they can't, is asking powerful questions. Let's go back for a moment. You got blind spots, you got perspectives, okay? And let's just say that you're working on a strategy with someone, and either they feel resistant, they don't understand, or whatever. If all you're doing is just say, nope, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, but you're not listening to the why behind what may be preventing them from moving forward, then you're going to come into kind of a deadlock, and it's going to, there's going to be some friction there. And you want to remove that, and you do that by asking questions. So and by the way, asking powerful questions, I have an episode about that too. You can go find that, about asking really good questions. There's 10 of them or so that are just transformational as far as I'm concerned. But you want to ask powerful questions that are simple. So why do you feel the way that you feel? Like that's a question, right? It's an easy one to ask that opens it. Some are going to be more open than not. What led you to that decision? What kind of impact do you think that we could do if that were to happen? How did they feel? How did your team feel, your family, when you made that decision? It's asking all those questions that begins to get them to open up. That moves them in, again, it gets our self-opening to be actively listening, and it sets things up to begin to show them what they currently cannot see. So you have active listening, you have asking great questions, and then case studies and powerful stories. I'm telling you right now, you need to embed story after story after story to help shift the perspective from where they are right now to where you are trying to lead them to. I'll give you an example. In our system, again, we're working with clients one strategy at a time and one step at a time. We're not making up new strategies. They've been around forever, since the dawn of time. But unfortunately, most clients, most business owners don't really know them and don't understand them, and they certainly don't know how to implement them. So for context, here's how I would use a story by helping a business owner understand a specific strategy. Let's talk about bundling. And I use this all the time. It's a great one to use. Makes it really easy to explain the power and the purpose of bundling and so on. So back in the day, you may or may not remember, all the fast food giants, nobody had value meals or combo meals like we have them today. If you wanted a hamburger, you ordered a hamburger. You wanted a Coke, you also got a Coke. Until a very smart executive at McDonald's said, we're going to implement a new strategy in the form of a question at the point of sale, no matter what the customer is buying. That question was, would you like fries with that? You probably remember that, or maybe you do. And so that's called bundling, and it didn't cost them anything, and overnight their revenues soared by more than 30% by simply beginning to ask that question. Why? They're already making the fries. They cost them no more money to make the fries that they're already making. They just made it simple for a percentage of customers to go, sure. And then that bundling strategy turned into value meals that ended up turning into combo meals. And of course, as you know, every walk-up restaurant around the world, and some of them are exclusive to having just a bundled approach. So there's an example of utilizing a story, because if all you did is said, we need to work on bundling, we can get a 5 to 8% revenue gain if we were to bundling. Well, if the owner doesn't understand that, what you're talking about, you're missing everything. And so you want to bring in stories like that to go, oh, I get that. And there's all kinds of stories that you can use for every single thing that you're working through. It really can transform and help everyone at the same time. So you've got perspectives, you've got helping them see what they can't, and then now we're actively moving them to the opportunity to truly see what they can't. And this is where you get into vision casting. All right. So imagine if, Mr. Business Owner, if you were to bundle this product and that product, what could happen? So now you've listened, you're helping them to recognize perspectives that they haven't seen yet. You've used story, and now you're setting up the vision. And that happens in several different ways, but you're essentially helping them to begin to think about that you just kind of walk through. It's going to foster connectivity. It's going to foster collaboration between you and them about all the what ifs. So again, in our system, we have a step-by-step approach to do this very thing, because then once you start to set the vision, the what ifs, just imagines, all those, now many of them, you're starting to move them into what we call the aha zone. Oh, I get it. Oh, I see how that works. Oh, I could see how we could take this and bundle this with that, and how that could, now our per customer sale is going to increase, and we're not spending any money to do it. Like, that's an example to use the vision to do so. Hope this makes sense. I think that it will. And once you do that, and you get good at it, and you go from one concept and one strategy, then to another, and then to another, they're starting to see you as the guide and strategist that you are. And if you do it well with simplicity, that's the key, critical key, they love that. The last thing that they want anymore in their life is overwhelm. But if I'm just being honest with you, back in the day, that's exactly what I did. Didn't mean to, but I'm an ideas guy. So I would give this idea and that idea, and it was just too much. And so when you do it well, you listen well, you're helping them see blind spots, talking about it openly. Like, have you ever thought about, the blind spots that you may have? And have you ever thought about blind spots that could and have prevented you from being successful? We all have them. We're all at different levels of them. And that's the reason why understanding perspectives, listening well, helping them see what they can't, visioning, casting, telling some stories, that's where the power of helping them to truly see opportunities that they currently don't see. Hope that adds value to you today. I hope that opens up your mind on the coaching process to make a significant impact on the life of another person who owns a business, who wants to grow that business, doesn't know exactly how to. You could be the catalyst for that to happen. This is an art form. Our company's called Business Coach Mastery for a reason, and is to master these processes. It takes practice, it takes time, and consistency. All right? Until next time, take care.